Imagine being a U.S. veteran, waiting months for benefits you earned, while billions flow to illegal migrants. And now Democrats are blocking funds that could help, risking shutdowns, hurting TSA workers and security. The hypocrisy is boiling my blood. Same as the Minnesota fraud scandals we exposed. Today I'm calling out this America Last illogic with the hardest of evidence. Like the previous breakdowns of the Somali daycare fraud, this is about government double standards wasting your tax dollars.
His role in processing medical care for illegals. Yes, you heard that right. While those who fought to protect us wait to be treated. I pay an exorbitant amount of taxes to this country, and I can't even get seen for basic needs. But illegals can. They can literally cross the border with all these pre-existing medical injuries or illnesses or whatever they have going on, and they literally walk right into a primary care doctor or specialty care doctor and get whatever services they need. And what we're learning now, Darren, is that the VA is part of facilitating the reimbursements and the payments for this.
Texas Senator John Cornyn is arguing that passing the SAVE Act, which requires proof of citizenship to vote, is more important than the sanctity of the Senate filibuster.
Border crisis intensifies. Veterans are now calling out the VA's role in processing medical care for illegals. Yes, you heard that right. While those who fought to protect us wait to be treated. Concerned veterans for...
So let me get this straight. Vets who fought for us get denied, while the illegals get the fast track to benefits. How does that make any sense whatsoever?
America is one organization calling on lawmakers to investigate. Air Force veteran Darren Selnick is one of its senior advisors. He joins us now. Darren, nobody knows VA and VA healthcare better than you. This story's on foxnews.com right now. Break down what's happening. Is it really the case that when someone comes across the border illegally, in some way they're using the VA to get healthcare services?
Hey, Pete, thanks for having me on your show. Yeah, it's happening. And I got to tell you, when I found out about this a few weeks ago, it made me mad. And everyone I've talked to who's a veteran, it makes them mad. VA's mission is to serve veterans. It is not to help ICE and the Border Patrol, which we have the documents which on their websites and from a memo. It's not to help them go ahead and process medical claims and pay medical claims and make it easy for the unauthorized migrants to get health care and dental care. So what is happening is, and look, as someone who's a former senior advisor in the Trump administration at the VA and an advisor at the White House, I would have stopped this. We would have stopped this because...
I just don't get, why do we prioritize non-citizens over those that have served our country and were willing to put their life on the line so that the rest of us could live peacefully? Why is that? I wonder if Joe Biden has a good answer for that one.
It's not right. The mission of the VA is to serve veterans, not to serve unauthorized migrants. And so what's happening is, and we have this from the Undersecretary of Health, he's put out in a video, which I've seen, hey, make it hard for veterans. Make it hard for veterans to go ahead and get community care. But at the same time, they are processing for 2022 161,000 medical claims and paying those claims for unauthorized migrants. Meanwhile, veterans are having a hard time getting health care. They're literally dying because they can't get mental health in a timely manner. They can't get cancer treatment. Bills are being sent to them because they're not paying the providers on time. So it's make it hard for veterans. They've told the staff to do that. Only default to the VA community care when you have to. At the same time, they're helping Border Patrol and ICE make it easy button. Easy button for unauthorized migrants, hard button for veterans. It's got to stop. Congress needs to investigate this. Last year, Mayorkas said in testimony that they were working with the VA to go ahead and expand this, possibly in medical centers. We don't know exactly.
Isn't that crazy how we basically allowed all of these illegal migrants to come to the country, use and abuse our resources, basically just steal billions of dollars from us like we saw in Minnesota. Some things are popping up in California now with dead people being registered to vote and collect other forms of payments and things like that. So we had ICE and everything. to stop that. So we were still paying ICE. Then we bring these illegals in. We pay them all this stuff. They abuse the system, take money from us. And then now we have to do the right thing and we have to pay even more money to get them out. It's like a triple whammy of getting screwed over. It just doesn't make any sense. So much wasted money.
Exactly how deep this is. Got to be investigated.
It's insane.
Got to be stopped.
That VA employee you're talking about said, press the easy button less for vets with community care. They want vets stuck inside VA facilities and not able to go outside to get care if they're waiting too long. This is a bill that was passed intentionally to fix what VA is doing so terribly. Here's a source, by the way, for this story. It's an ICE agent and a vet talking to Fox News Digital. He said, we served in the military in this country, and we have these benefits to use in the VA. I pay an exorbitant amount of taxes to this country, and I can't even get seen for basic needs. But illegals can. They can literally cross the border with all these pre-existing medical injuries or illnesses or whatever they have going on, and they literally walk right into a primary care doctor or specialty care doctor and get whatever services they need. And what we're learning now, Darren, is that the VA is part of facilitating the reimbursements and the payments for this.
It's almost as if the Democrats were using that to buy votes from the illegals. Oh, almost. It's almost like that. Huh.
Now, VA is denying they're involved in this, of course, but there's a VA in front of the process by which these healthcare providers get reimbursed for the care they're providing for illegals.
No, absolutely. I mean, the documents are true. I mean, you can take a look at these documents, anyone online. There's a portal online at the ICE which directs them to go to the VA. The VA, documents show from ICE that they processed, had 161,000 medical claims. ICE says that every provider that they take the unauthorized migrant to, that the provider have to send their MedPAR, their claims to the VA. VA is processing them. Look, VA processes it for community care. They should be spending all their time processing the claims for veterans, not for other agencies, not for unauthorized migrants. It's a fact that they are doing it, and because of that, veterans are suffering, and they're the ones getting bills, and providers are leaving the system. It's totally corrupt, and it's got to be investigated. It's got to be stopped. You're making my blood boil just hearing that. When you consider how difficult it is for a vet, first of all, to be seen at a VA facility, then to get authorized to go outside for care, then to get actually reimbursed for that because that system is so dysfunctional. Instead of focusing on making that work for vets, we're facilitating payments for illegals in this country to get medical and dental. And then the VA says, nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Texas Senator John Cornyn is arguing that passing the SAVE Act, which requires proof of citizenship to vote, is more important than the sanctity of the Senate filibuster. Now, the filibuster requires 60 votes to pass as a bill, ensuring broader support for a law than just a simple majority. In theory, it's meant to stop radical changes to the law by requiring at least some agreement on both sides of the political aisle. In an op-ed for our very own New York Post, Cornyn says it's time to end the practice. He writes, quote, after careful consideration, I support whatever changes to Senate rules that may prove necessary for us to get the Save America Act and Homeland Security funding past the Democrats' obstruction through the Senate and on the president's desk for his signature.
Isn't that crazy that they, this kind of what we see today where, the shutdown hurting the everyday people, just like what was going on with the veterans back then as well. This hurts the VA, TSA, multiple other government employees and agencies, and I just don't get it. It's like, what are you trying to accomplish? It's just like illogical, doesn't make any sense. It's just like they're brewing chaos for no reason. It's just ridiculous. Like why? For something that's so common sense. Need an ID to vote. Well, gee, you need it to do everything else, don't you? To buy alcohol, to drive, and it's just like the most common sense thing. And then they want to try to twist it and contort it and make it seem like, that's racist and stuff. It's just so ridiculous, dude.
Now, Cornyn goes on to write that filibuster...
It's like you think of something logically and you're just like, yep, this makes sense. And then you're like, this could only ever make sense to everybody. It's just so like commonsensical. And then somebody comes out, well, what if this? And they just start saying things that are just like, you're like, is your mind okay? Where are you coming up with this? Like, what? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, these people's minds are disjointed. I just don't get it.
Could mean a talking filibuster that, in his words, removes the obstructionist free pass and makes them defend their indefensible views on the Senate floor. Now, Cornyn's change of heart comes as he believes Democrats would nuke the filibuster the next time they're in power. That was enough to make him support the move. So what would eliminating the filibuster really mean, and what is Cornyn's political calculus? Here's the Post's political reporter, Ryan King.
Most big legislation that goes through the Senate has to be bipartisan to overcome the filibuster. So this would open up the floodgates to all sorts of legislation on things like election law, abortion policy, immigration, and more that typically would be dead in the Senate. And basically, if the filibuster were gone, the minority party would have a lot less leverage. Now, it's important to note the context of, we mentioned Cornyn earlier, coming out in favor of weakening the filibuster. He's facing a really tough primary in Texas and needs President Trump's endorsement. And Trump has been pushing Republicans in the Senate to weaken the filibuster so that he can get the Save America Act through the Senate. And there's been a big pressure campaign from conservative influencers on Republican senators to weaken the filibuster. But right now, Senate Majority Leader John Thune has said that Republicans simply don't have the votes for that. And there are a lot of concerns among Republican senators, particularly ones who have been in the Senate for a long time, that if they were to take away the filibuster or weaken it, that it'll come back to bite them in the future if Democrats were to take over the Senate again.
I think you just got to do what's right and what makes sense, and then go from there and let the truth prevail. That's my opinion. Save America Act makes sense. Can't be having dead people vote and buying illegal votes and things like that. Just it's ridiculous. Sabotaging the American people. I mean, the thing with the VA, like, you saw that, and they're just willing to hurt these people, these real Americans, the ones that have served our country, the ones working for the government. I mean, it impacts so many different areas. Like I mentioned, TSA. You have workers in like prisons and things like that, and it's really widespread, and it's destructive, and it just does it for something that is such a common sense choice. Like it just boggles my mind that people are willing to sacrifice that just for, I don't even know why, just because they don't like Trump maybe, or they want power or something. Like it's I can't even put my finger on it. It just doesn't make sense. It's just like ridiculous to sabotage these people like this. This government hypocrisy is freaking mind-boggling. You know, these scandals, they tie together. You know, if this government hypocrisy and them running amok, putting migrants and politics over veterans and government workers, it's illogical and un-American. And it really freaking annoys me. It pisses me off to no ends. But if this fires you up like the previous Minnesota fraud videos I had, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know, what's the biggest hypocrisy at play here?